during my sacred pilgrim to Kedarnath Temple, something phenomenal happened that transformed my life forever. This encounter with Shiva and the rapture of his divine energy that will completely blow your mind away when you hear the story. So in this satsang, I will reveal when we climb to the top of Kedarnath Temple, which is one of the most important pilgrim for true sincere seeker on the spiritual path. And that happened in 2016. And those days my Kundalini was flying crazy. And the reason why I'm going to impart this phenomenal pilgrim to you is so you can see, beloved, how a deity, when you access a deity, for example, like Shiva here, how it can completely transform your life and propel you into enlightenment and divine transformation and bring about mystical experiences. And so Kedarnath Temple is probably one of very ancient temple in Uttarakhand in India, nestled into the majestic Himalaya, and it's considered to be one of the 12 Jyotirlinga in the world. It was in 2016 when I went there with my beloved Prashant at the time, and it was in August. And it was during the monsoon. It was very, very dangerous. So you'll hear the spiritual marriage that took place by the linga, but also the significance of what is it to work with, to have access to a deity like that. And make sure you stay until the end of this satsang, because so you can receive the blessing from this journey and the divine transmission. So there will be a short meditation of about 5 minutes towards the end. And so, oh my God, when Prashant and I climbed there, we were not married at the time, and there's several other major sites for sincere seeker. There is Badrinath, Gangotri, and Yamunotri, I believe, and they all are located in the Himalaya. And you will see also how a pilgrim can really propel you into such divine transformation. And so we went to several of them except for Badrinath, and I'll tell you why later, why we didn't go, even though we had planned on going. And so let's look at Kedarnath Temple. It's the significance of it historically is known that Adi Shankara, the father of Vidya Vitanda, actually built a temple in the 8th century AD. However, there's a debate apparently that it's possible that that was the Pandava, that you, if you're familiar with the Mahabharata, that great epic, that they built it, and it was later that Adi Shankara, the father of Vidya Vitanda, reconstructed the temple. But it's very significant because the linga is a natural linga. It's an energy form for some of you who don't know. And it's very mystical place, mystical pilgrim, and highly recommended to do in one lifetime. And so we drove for 21 days throughout the Himalaya, and it's so beautiful. And Uttarakhand, we went all the way up. Even though it was the monsoon, it was not recommended to go. It's very dangerous, and I was one of the very rare tourists there. But my devotion and my love was so strong for Shiva that I really wanted to go. And you will see as we go in the satsang, you'll see a lot of photo of the temple and Prashant and I when we climb. And the journey is actually quite phenomenal itself, because the altitude is over 11,000, I think 750,000 feet high. I think it's very, very high up in the Himalaya, near the glacier. I think it's called Shorobi, and near of a lake as well. And Manasova Lake is not too far away from Kedarnath Temple as well. So no car are allowed to go there. You actually have to climb, and it's about 10 miles. So it takes probably it could take 8 to 10 hours going up, depending how fast you go, depending if you stop for a tea and take a rest. And so, but as we were driving, we encountered big obstacles, and one of them, during the monsoon, there's a lot of mountain slide, and there was one that happened not far away from our car. Thank God we were protected. Nothing happened to us. It happened probably like less than half a mile from as we were going up. We were almost to Kalashpuri, I think, in that little town, and it was raining a lot, and so we ended up sleeping in the car that night because nobody could go. They had closed the road was closed. There was no way to go. At 6 o'clock in the morning, they created this big explosive explosion to clear the road, so we finally could continue on our journey. And we just slept in the car. We felt protected, and the following morning, boy, it made a lot of noise. They opened up the road, and we finally continued our journey. When we arrived in Kalashpuri, that little town, before you start climbing the journey, it was pouring rain. We couldn't go anywhere. It was not recommended to go and climb. So we stayed there. We ended up staying there for 5 days. We couldn't go up because the monsoon was too strong, and it was highly recommended to go by helicopter. And so we looked into that, and we were on standby waiting to go by helicopter when there would be a window of sunlight and the rain would stop. And finally, after 5 days of up in the peak of this glorious, majestic glacier, was phenomenally beautiful, so quiet. It's highly recommended for you, beloved, so you can experience not only connecting to such a deity like Shiva, but also what it is, such a pilgrim in the Himalaya. Now let's talk about Shiva for a moment, because that needs to be demystified. A lot of people believe when Devi Mayi Ma talk about Shiva, there's two aspects of it. And there is Shiva, which means that which that is not, meaning that is omnipotent, omnipresent, unchanging, pure consciousness. It is just there, still, which Shakti comes and animate everything, that primordial energy that I've talked a lot about in previous satsang. And there is also the Lord Shiva, the Lord of the Yogi. We call him also the Adi Yogi, the Adi Guru. Adi means the first. It's believed throughout the ages, through the yogic tradition, that Shiva came on earth, the smear yogi, that he came probably like around, there's a debate over that, there is no historical proof of it, but maybe around 5,000 maybe 5,000 to 8,000 years ago. So it was for sure during the Neolithic period. And it's also believed by certain ascended master and some of the hearsay in the yogic tradition that Shiva possibly he's a celestial being of another dimension who brought the science of yoga, the science of the spine. What I mean by spine is the axis between earth and infinity. Kundalini, where Kundalini, the primordial energy flow, where the spiritual ascension take place, spiritual awakening and Kundalini awakening is the same, beloved. The whole journey is from the Muladhara, the crown chakra, through the Saraswara, the crown chakra, the 1,000 petal lotus. And so when I talk about Shiva, I talk about both in so many ways, because Shiva himself, the Adi Yogi, was one with the whole of existence as a celestial being, or as a being, because he's been known to be the Swayambhu. Swayambhu from Sanskrit means one who is self-created. And that means there is no record of birth and no record of death. And it's pretty well known in the yogic tradition that is a Swayambhu. But the question, what is the truth? But it's what matters is what you experience. And this is where it will blow your mind of what happened in Kedarnath Temple. Kedarnath Temple, not only it's one of the Jyotirlinga. Jyoti means light. There's 12 of them on the planet. They all are dedicated in devotion to Adiyogi Shiva and to Shiva, to the ultimate reality, that pure consciousness, what we call our Creator, God, by so many thousands of names. Maybe we could say even millions of names. And so finally, we took off, and oh my God, what an exciting journey. It took about probably 8 minutes to fly through among the glacier, and we landed. And then when we touched the ground, we were so happy, feeling so blessed and so protected. And then we walked probably about a couple of miles, and we found a little, there's a couple of little lodges, and then we went straight to the temple, and we got married right by the linga. And there was a puja, a pandit, like a priest, we could say, who came and did the ceremony for Prashant and I. And it was so auspicious, beloveds, because no one walked into the temple. No one. It was only this pandit who married us spiritually into a Shiva Shakti puja. It took about an hour, and we were right by the rock, the energy farm. And it was so beautiful, so powerful. And then we walked 3 times around the linga. And then by the time we finished walking, then suddenly people started coming in. This was incredibly auspicious and epic and very, very rare. It was a blessing from Shiva, because there is always thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people sometimes going to Kedarnath Temple. It's one of the most popular pilgrims all around the world. And so now, what happened that night? After the marriage, even before we did the spiritual puja, I forgot to mention, there were a couple of Naga Baba sadhu outside. Sadhu are men, most likely most of them are men, male. They live the spiritual path, meaning all they do is just spirituality, spiritual practices. They beg for food, and they're very well-known Naga sadhu. And we connected with many of them, but one in particular. You see the photo here is Isha Puri, and it was so beautiful to connect with them. They're very highly evolved being. And he blessed us, and then that's when we went into the temple, and then we did the whole spiritual marriage into Shiva Shakti. It was just a spiritual marriage. It was not the official marriage. This came much later in 2018. So finally the night came, and then the priest of the temple did a puja, an offering by the linga, offering all kind of coconut and chandanam and pushpam. Chandanam is sandalwood, and pushpam is flower. And then you can come and offer something. And he chants in Sanskrit. And then I came forward and I brought a beautiful garland of flower that I had purchased on the way. There are little kiosks then, and I offer it. And then I went to sit down and I closed my eyes. And the puja take probably about an hour, and it's so beautiful, the reverberation in the temple, and it's very ancient, you know. You can, it breaks the veil and dissolves the veil between two worlds, the physical and another dimension of reality. And then here I was, and then Shiva just came, and it just took over my being, and I went into what we call Bhava Samadhi. For you, some of you, if you don't know, Bhava Samadhi is a form of samadhi. Bhava means devotion. When you're very devotional, especially on the path of bhakti, loving devotion, and where you offer yourself, and where you're in a state of abandonment and surrender, you can become one with the deity. It can be with your guru also. That intense feeling of emotion that you go into rati. Remember, rati means the power of emotion. Rati is like the mystical aspect of the sadhana, where it culminate into being propelled into a state of intense bliss and ecstasy, where all the boundaries break and you go into a state of oneness, into a state of higher consciousness. And there is no boundary anymore. You become one with the deity. And this is what happened to this one. Is a state of that propel you even on your sadhana closer into enlightenment. It's a powerful mystical experiences where it melts boundaries and bring you into such a divine transformation. It was truly divine grace, and so it can happen for you. And what happened to this one is so humbling and so mind-boggling, is that the Bhava Samadhi, Shiva came coming back over and over for the decade, meaning he just come and he just flew through my being and does what needs to be done. And this is what happened when you empty. There is no personality. There is no you anymore. You open up the gate, the doorway for the highest consciousness, for the divine to come. It can be with any deity, by the way. As I say, it can be with your guru, because guru, God, guru, self, devotee, there is no boundary, there is only one. It's all depending on how open and receptive and vulnerable you are. And this one was deeply, because of karma has a lot to do with that, but so many lifetimes on being on that path. And so what happened propelled me into where Shiva can come flowing through and does what needs to be done. And so this has propelled me into enlightenment, and to so many infinite mystical experiences, another form of samadhi, and complete divine transformation. It's so incredibly humbling. So let's do a short meditation and part a little glimpse here. Just close your eyes, turn your hand upward and look straight, and just be with Devi Ma right now. And put your attention at the bottom of the root chakra. You can turn your hands upward, looking up. That's the yoga of mudra. You cross-legged, your spine straightly erect, and you look towards your third eye. And take a deep breath and let go of everything. Exhale everything that doesn't serve you. Take a very deep breath and let go, and inhale divine love. And mindfully allow your breath to caress your spine. And see the blue pearl of, remember the light, universal light of consciousness. Even you don't see it now, yet, in realization, just visualize it. Devi Mayi Ma have talked a lot about that. And you look upward, and focus your attention on you breathing mindfully, consciously. Inhale Shi, exhale Va. And just focus as you inhale Shi, and you inhale Va. Be like a little child and let go completely of all that doesn't serve you, wounds, blockage. Let this frequency of 432 Hz just melt everything about you, and let you Bijan mantra allow the divine grace to flow all over you. Inhale Shi, exhale Va. Let's breathe as one heart, one soul, one spirit, one being. Inhale Shi, exhale Va. Now you may open your eyes. Just rub your hands together and apply it to your eyes. And if you enjoy this video satsang, share it with your friends and your family. If you're new to our channel, just welcome, beloved. Join our beloved community and click to the next video satsang coming up, because this one is focused on unlocking the yogic deity and how it can transform your Kundalini awakening. And there is another one also about my sacred mystical moment inside the consecration of Bhairavi Devi with Sadhguru. And so, and make sure you write comment. What was your experience? What was it for you that really resonated deep with you into this satsang? And have you been to Kedarnath Temple, or are you planning on going to Kedarnath Temple? Or if not, maybe you have gone to Badrinath or other temple around the world. Please share it in the comments section. It would be wonderful to hear your experiences. And how was this for you, this short meditation? And this is definitely something you can bring. This is the Shift Empowerment. We did it, it's very short, but there is another satsang coming up very shortly on our community, on our channel, and that one is not launched yet, but I highly suggest to stay tuned. It will be coming out probably in the next few weeks. It's a Kundalini meditation transmission, and it will give you the whole sadhana there. And so just subscribe if you're not subscribed, and leave the notification on, and write down in the comment, what was it for you about, and do you have any question about this pilgrim? And it would be so wonderful to hear all your experiences, not only with this pilgrim and this transmission, but also if you have been to other places. And so we look forward to hear your comment. Beautiful, radiant spirit, I'm here for you. And click to the next video. And if you have any question, and if they are profound, I will make sure I will be answering. So until then, I am Devi Mayi Ma, Yogini and Mystic, and sending you all my love and blessing and grace. Namaste.